What'd you think of
He did.
Kells Tyson Bell no call? The moving pick on Kells diving out at Tyson.
The no call. Well, they called him for a moving pick,
Well, they called for a moving
didn't
pick,
they?
but I mean,
Yeah,
there was no. Bell obviously wanted a penalty called, but just the fact
that's no
that,
penalty.
right, and then Withers, and then boom. I
Yeah,
love the fact that Kells gets out there. He is involved in
yeah,
everything. Sometimes you got to
yeah,
wonder, like, what are you doing? You're like against Albany at the beginning of the year. He loses his mind, takes a penalty, and you're like, what are you doing?
yeah,
But there's a very
yeah,
fine line between being able to fire your team up and then they come down and score the next goal and
yeah.
doing something stupid. I was impressed with it. I loved it.
What goalie, when you think of the pick behind the net and the big bump, what goalie do you think of immediately?
Coming behind the net like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'd have to say Vince.
Yeah, Matt Vinc does it all the time. Throws the big body checks, and he'll get called for it sometimes. Won't get called for it sometimes. That's a pretty good role model to emulate. And of course, Vince and Kells are both goalies for the Peterborough Lakers in Major Juniors Lacrosse. Now, Vince hasn't played for a bit. I'm not sure he's going to play MSL anymore. I mean, he's been playing for a while. I think summer's maybe a time off for him. I don't know. But they're in pretty good hands because the Lakers had Vince and Mike Poulin as their goalies. So when they went out west a few years ago for the Mann Cup, and Matt Vinc couldn't go because that's the beginning of the school year, and it's really hard for teachers to get time off at the beginning of the school year when there's times throughout the year they've needed things for their lacrosse careers, right? So Vince couldn't go, and he was also they just had a baby, he and his wife. So Poulin was the guy. Peter was fine. Poulin may have been the MVP of the series. I can't remember. They won the Mann Cup with Mike Poulin. They were just fine, but they had a very young backup at that point. But then now neither Vince nor Poulin is really playing summer lately. So Kells stepped up last year. They've got Drew Hutchison. They've got Doug Buchan, who's played very well for them over the last few years. So they've got a lot of goaltending. But Kells is the guy,
You
and
can you can
it's
see the
it's
Vince inspiredness in it. Now
yeah,
that you say, as soon as you pointed that out, I
yeah,
was like, I don't know how I didn't see that before,
yeah,
because he definitely plays with that edge. It was like 2 weeks ago I clipped a highlight, somebody going towards the crease, and Vince doesn't even think about making the save. He just tackles the guy
right,
coming in. He
yeah.
just
Yeah, and it's terrifying with that Vince coming at you because all the players have seen him without his gear on, in just a warm up shirt. He is a beast, an absolute Hulk of a man. I still love the fact that years ago when Vince and Aaron Bold were the two goalies for the Rochester Nighthawks, I was talking to some coaches or that from the team, and they said, yeah, so we did our fitness testing at the start of camp every year. We do our fitness testing of all the players, and the top two guys on their rankings of the fittest guys were Matt Vinc and Aaron Bold in some order. I'm not sure who was first and who was second. And that may still be the case to this day for those two, because they're both, I mean, Vince is a high school teacher, but he's so fit, so in shape, and so committed to it. And Aaron Bold's a personal trainer, and he's just a beast. I mean, and that is part of why they're still playing in the NLL later in their careers and still able to handle the grind of it.
no, that makes so much sense. I mean, you look at any athlete who's taken it far into their career, it's always somebody who takes their body very serious. You're in incredible physical shape. You always hear about guys talking about their crazy diets and their crazy just
Mm-hmm.
everything. They're so strict, everything's and it
Yeah,
shows. Yeah, no,
yeah,
I'm a huge Matt Vince fan. I love watching him play. As far as he's a goalie who can take over a game. You know, either
yeah,
emotionally going out and setting that pick for you to get you the last possession or to help secure the next 30 seconds for your team or
yeah,
making a big save. Like you never know what he's going to do.
yeah.
I'm a huge fan of watching him.
It's a really hot take there. Matt Vinc is good.
All right, now something a little less common than Matt Vince is good. Let's talk about your
Okay.
jersey.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.